There's a good core that you could use here. That also takes advantage of the Bloodlust.
Razor's still in the pool. I mean, it doesn't take advantage of the Bloodlust that well, but Razor carries just look very strong.
I actually like that idea.
Yeah.
So it's a lane winner as well. Thank God.
It's also a lane winner.
Yeah, you just run in with your BKB. It's a hero that has high agi, good base armor. You can throw in a plate mail for an AC or Shivers. So the Wraith King, you can kind of just kite him with your static links. And it's so easy to static link a Wraith King.
Yeah.
So.
The Refresher is also a great build. You keep the damage afterwards. So Wraith King Reincarnation, you still continue hitting him. And honestly, I think Bloodlust is fine. It's not like it's underutilized. Especially the movement speed for Razor is pretty great.
You could also choose to just go for
that is Xiao Yu's best hero.
Xiao Yu's best.
Man,
by a long
SEA
shot.
players love their Legion.
Of course,
There's a few SEA players where Legion's like their signature hero.
Gods, you've played SEA pubs. This is the solo carry hero.
I really don't like this LC
This is every core player in C wants to carry the game.
Exactly.
And Legion. You get the dual damage.
Yeah, they go and say, go war, and then you jump in as Legion, and that's it. This is the hero you start war with.
And you go back like, 3 or 4 years, 4 positions when to carry, so they played Legion jungle, And they obviously that was every server, but I think SEA especially.
So many. I was there, I moved there 2 years ago, and there were still Legion 4s.
And then after Iron Talons
yeah, exactly. They didn't care. They would lose a game.
So I don't like the LC for the reason that Wraith King is a hero that you want sustained damage against in a fight, because say you waste your jewel on him, he's just going to reincarnate, and then you've wasted your ability. I think Ogre severely lacks team fight. Dawnbreaker ult is a decent team fight, but in terms of crowd control, it's not there. So LC doesn't fix that problem for you. I think they could be looking at this hero in another direction, which would be the saving type LC. Yeah, so if they pick something... I was thinking about Terrorblade for a little while for TNC, but since they just picked Lich and Conquer, I would really hate to see it now. But I was thinking that they could have had something like that, and then they have the Dawnbreaker save, the Ogre to buff, the LC to save and protect, and like that type of thing would work well with a good carry here. I don't know who maybe Jug could be the hero?
Need some hyper. I don't know if Jug is like a scary enough. Like I'd almost rather like the full on like PA type thing, but. They just, whatever carry they pick, assuming it's, I think generally Legion, you're not going to the game thinking you're going to carry. Sometimes you just have those games where you get a bunch of dual damage and you crush your lane and you can, but you got to assume that most likely you're going to be that defensive Legion buffing up your frontline core, so.
The reason I like Jug is because he does provide some sense of team fight in that if you have, if you have like spin going with Maelstrom and the Shard and stuff, it like does a lot of like damage to everyone in the fight, and like maybe that's like the AoE damage they're kind of looking for. But this hero's really out of meta.
Out of meta. The Omni Slash is also countered by everything. Rum, the shield, Wraith King's existence.
Yeah.
So
but he's a hero that allows you to run at buildings with healing ward and like play early.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, I see the problem. Like Fnatic make it hard. The Lich shield on the towers is gonna make it hard to push. Conquer's just nice. I don't know.
I actually like the Lifestealer. It's actually a pretty decent pick this game.
Yeah, it could have been.
I'm wondering why we see this SF. I guess it doesn't matter too much. We'll probably send it wherever has the best lane. But yeah, this is a hero that's going to benefit a lot from the buffs and the saves. SF's biggest weakness is his squishiness, so having a Agshard Legion commander sitting behind you can help your game a ton.
Yep. And you need a carry though. If Legion's going to play with the theory of the save, you need a carry that is capable of frontlining, like something along the lines of a Luna or a Deucer or whatever that can actually lead. But
yeah, because Legion sitting back, and Dawnbreaker, if you're playing 4 position, is not going to be that great frontliner. So I think some kind of, I'm trying to think what that's why they banned Lifesteal. That's a frontline carry that can set up your SF. Conquer would have been good for them as well as that kind of frontline carry, but Fnatic took it.
SF feed a bunch to Conquer in mid lane.
Yeah,
with 6. I
well,
feel
once
like.
you get 6, but the lane itself is good for SF though, especially if you go for raises. So.
But Snapfire and Lich are both really, really good at coming mid and killing SF. I feel like, and their supports aren't going to save his life. They could maybe help get a return kill if the gank gets fudged a bit, but
10 seconds.
And I just don't like SF's burst for Legion Jewel. Obviously, if he goes blink or something, he can get on top of it and ult. But it feels bad. He's gonna probably most likely want to go this physical damage build that everyone's been building with the Dragon Lance and so on.
Yep.
So I don't know who's winning these duels for Legion. Again, it can be played defensively, but
yeah, she's not getting much duel damage this game unless she does it by herself.
Exactly. It just feels rough. I feel like this SF pick makes Legion's game feel rough, and it makes SF's game feel rough because he's not tanky enough to fulfill this frontlining carry role that the rest of this picks seem to be supporting.
Yeah, and I feel like they may just run SF carry, but Fnatic seem to think they don't do that because they're just banning carries, so probably that's just not a thing.
Could you Sven? Oh.
Drow range.
Wow.
Select your heroes.
They're going all in on having no frontliners. I don't know how you play Drow SF without some kind of frontline hero.
Elsie has the front line. Maybe she'll buy some
No blink.
armlet. Yeah, something
Hood.
tanky.
Yeah, hood, armlet, just full tank mode.
If the final pick
Solar
wasn't
Cra-
Magnus, I would have more faith in this lineup. But Magnus particularly is like great against these kind of strategies.
Right.
Magnus Conca is like
They want to protect him, but he's just gonna get RP'd and skewered it back into
Every
like base or whatever.
Super tough game for TNC. This is one of those games where it's like you have to play your lineup so well, and if there's a team you want to have low expectations of that happening, it's probably TNC based on what we've seen so far, to be brutally honest. Like, their draft is just so difficult to play. I don't think they've necessarily got a terrible draft, but it's just Drow SF, these squishy range cores against, I mean, yeah, Magnus, Kunkka, like you said. It's so tough for them.
oh no.
Yeah, I don't know.
I want to give some faith to TNC, but this lineup is really not convincing.
The only way I see this working well is that they win their lanes because they got to choose their matchup. So I would hope that they feel comfortable in their lanes, and then they are able to fulfill Young God pushing tower, because they can rotate Young God early from safe lane to off lane and start pushing towers with the Legion sitting behind. And I don't think Wraith King's going to want to get involved, and Magnus won't have blink. So it could be difficult for Fnatic to deal with if TNC execute, but we have not seen them do that very well.
We'll see if TNC can execute as well. We got into the matchup narrated by MLP and johnxfire.
Yeah, it looks like maybe having a bit issues here, but yeah, as Mike was saying, not much faith in TNC's draft. I think I kind of agree. I think we were having a bit of discussion there as well, Mike, where TNC's draft, it's a bit awkward. They have the Xiaoyu special, right? You and I, we've been talking about Xiaoyu's Legion Commander since Mineski Masters. It's been looking really sharp. He does go in for those saving plays. He tends to build up really fast with duels, but there's a lot of pressure on Xiaoyu to deliver. Like, there are so many weaknesses to that draft from TNC, as pointed out. Once the blink is up for jabs, you're not going to have a easy time in kind of protecting that backline. You're always going to have to be worried about the blink skewer in, and the RP is going to be able to get to town. So I think TNC is going to have to play aggressive, as pointed out specifically by Shippo. You know, they've got to hit this timing, push down to mid-tier 1, look for the early aggression, and look for the early damage output you get with level 6 up on your Drow, especially since you've got the range core in Yoe with SF. So there is some synergy here for TNC, but it does kind of rely solely on this one playstyle, which it feels like Fnatic's kind of ready to counteract anyway, Mike.
Straight to the bottom with you.
Oh, looks like we've still got a couple issues going through. No problems. Looks like we are ready to go ahead, though. So the unpause comes through, and we've got to see if TNC can pull out that playstyle, right? Like, no early First Bloods coming out yet. No gank attempts coming out, although we did see the smokes, but it is just used to scout out mid. I think, again, the worry for TNC is just this playstyle, right? Like, they have to execute as a team, and we just haven't seen them be able to do that. So I'm keen to see if TNC tied it. You know, Febby's on the Ogre Magi. We know Febby's playstyle on the 5, very sacrificial. Ogre Magi is probably one of the most sacrificial 5s you could ask for. Doesn't need to be alive throughout the entire team fight. Really just needs to ensure that the Bloodlust keeps flying out on the big physical cores. And again, just clumping up around mid for that early tier 1 push, and we've got to see if that can happen. I hear you. I think it's fine. Yeah, I think we're back. See. Yeah. Not too much excitement. They do manage to trade an even set of bounty runes as well there, Mike. TNC not capitalizing on the bot lane, so yeah, you're pretty happy here for both sides. If you see the lanes break out, Mike, top lane, Febby on the Ogre, along with Young God on the Drow. They're up against Jabs on the Mag and DJ on the Snap once more. I think this should be a little bit more manageable for Young God. I mean, you can just sit back, play with the Frost Arrows, and get your multi-shot ready. You've got some counterplays against the Magnus as well when he does look to be aggressive. You've got the Silence coming out, and the slows are going to be annoying. We're already seeing Febby doing a great job of just zoning out, using his level 1 well, spamming out the ignites, getting some right clicks in. He's got the Orb of Venom as well to kind of slow them down and force them back. So just the important thing here for TNC, Mike, is to ensure Young God gets that farm up, gets the early level 6, and again, look for that aggression onto the towers. They have to look for that push.
All right. Of course, we'll have a look at the other lanes as well. You've got mid lane with Armel and Yoe. Armel right now should have the advantage, I'd argue, on the Kunkka, right? Like, we've seen the SF Kunkka matchup before. SF can definitely take over, but you don't really outscale the Tidebringer damage. And Armel, he's known to play a very, very mean Kunkka. In fact, I think the only other person that plays a Kunkka just as well is probably Mamang Daya. But Armel, definitely a very scary Kunkka player, and Yoe, he's going to have his work cut out for him this matchup.
Yeah, he does have the range advantage. He can just spam out the raises, but it's not going to be enough to really zone out a Kunkka. You can still play with Tidebringers, you mentioned, so that's something you've always got to watch out for. And I think you're already off to a great start for Armel. Like, sure, he's getting some harassment in. He's up ahead in CS, and whenever you see an SF land being behind in creep score, it's not good news. You rely so much on that for your Necromastery. You need that initial farm. You want your fast level 6 to max out that raise as well for your damage output. Until Yoe hits that spike, it's not going to be a great time. His small camp was even blocked for the first 2 minutes, so you couldn't get stacks up. He couldn't go in while the Shave was pushed out to get some additional farm. Just really good small setups across the map here for Fnatic already.
Yeah, and of course, bot lane, Xiaoyu and play hard against Raven and Genuel. And we saw Raven last time around struggling just a little bit during the laning stage, especially due to the fact that you've got this Dawnbreaker that's just so powerful throughout the lane. For now, though, he's having a decent time as they are going to try and rush Genuel. They do have that Celestial Hammer, but play hard, he's not going to bother with the Starbreaker. Just leave the Lich be, chip away and come back later on. So all lanes pretty stock standard for now. Neither one really having too many kills or aggression going on, though I say that. In mid lane, you did see Armel dropping a little bit low, but he's just fine on the Kunkka.
Yeah, he's just going to be able to sit back, kind of juggle around. He is out of regen on Armel's side, but he does have really good rune control, and he's always got the XTP back with bot, so not in
bot lane.
No bot.
They're going to try and chase down Genuel, and they will get through the Frost Shield to be able to take the first blood. Play hard, the one to get on the Dawnbreaker. And it was initially Xiaoyu that was in trouble, but they just end up turning, and it's one of the strengths about these two heroes from the side of TNC, that you've got two very lane-dominant heroes in the LC and the Dawnbreaker. And it can be very, very hard to kind of deal with them once they counter-initiate.
Yeah, I think the big issue is Genuel doesn't have much to really contribute. I mean, sure, he can try to slow them down with Frost Blast, get a Frost Shield up as well for some durability. But in contrast to the Clockwork, where you can reapply pressure, threaten with your battery assault, threaten to cut them off with the cogs, Lich doesn't have that presence. So you can easily be run down by that duel, but Xiaoyu has to be careful.
He does. Bot lane, they'll chase him down with the Wraithfire Blast out from Raven. Xiaoyu, well, he's actually out healing and outrunning them. In fact, now Playhard's going to show up. Genuel's gone way too far. He needs one more right click, but he's not going to get it. Xiaoyu pushing his hero to the limits. And Playhard making it just in the nick of time to find his second kill of the game already.
Yeah, I worry about giving those kills away. It can kind of line up. Xiaoyu, again, his specialty is that Legion Commander. He's always performed when TNC does draft that for him, and he's already off to a really good start. He's keeping Raven in check. He's not too far behind in CS. Top lane, we saw some aggression coming out onto DJ, but not enough to really pin him down. And the lane for Jabs is going relatively even as well. Maybe a little bit better than the bot lane in comparison for Xiaoyu. But you're almost at the point where, you know, you can start to just farm up in the Magnus, hit your early item spikes. Jabs is going for the Dominator build, like. So he's not emphasizing the blink skewer backs. He's emphasizing some presence early on, some stats, some durability, and some push potential coming out with a creep. So you're going to have that early timing in the Dominator soon, and they could counteract that early push tempo that the Drow provides with the SF with her own little army coming through here for Fnatic's end.
I just woke up.
Wow.
Not even trying right now.
Imagine that, John. A pro player playing Magnus and not trying to be collapse. Good on you, Jabs. You're doing it right, sirs. Well, they're going to go for a big, large camp pull now. Febby is going to be there with the small camp pull as well. I do like this kind of utility Jabs is going to be bringing with this Helm of the Dominator. Something that people tend to underestimate. I mean, it is a very impactful kind of item pickup. And Jabs just being a little bit experimental, I'd argue, with this itemization, but
I just woke up. Not even
we'll
trying.
see if it works out for him. This mid lane, they're going to make the jump in onto Playhard with the boat out. Playhard still surviving somehow, but eventually Armel should be able to close the gap and secure the kill as Yoe. He tried to help with the Requiem, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, and this is not playing to what TNC wants, right? You want to build up on Yoe. He's starting to lag behind severely compared to our Kunkka. Armel already at 45-5 in comparison to our SF sitting at 31-3. They are looking to rotate a bit, maybe look to clear out some stacks, and they will find some. So Yoe's got some recovery coming through, but they've got to be careful how long they stick here.
Yeah, Febby can get cookied up. He'll try to just Fire Blast and escape the grasp of Armel, but there is no escaping. In fact, Armel just farming his creeps from that stack.
Right now, and I'm like,
Yoe, he was trying to steal the creeps away, but he kind of had to leave the large ones there, so Armel, he'll just take them for himself. And you already see that net worth lead from our Kunkka, just way further ahead than anyone else on the map. And well, Yoe on that SF, John, it's not looking pretty in terms of net worth. He's already 1k behind.
Yeah, he's at least hitting some leveled spikes, so he's got that value point from Requiem. He's already got the maxed out raises. There's some early presence they can play with. The sidelines are looking a little bit better as well.
DJ, he's going to drop. Nice rotation again in from Playhard. Able to secure the kill onto DJ there with Young God. Unfortunately for them, they didn't really have the opportunity to dive the tier 1 and go after Jabs, but you take what you can get right now if you're TNC Predator. They will hold on to the kill lead, at least for now. Again, I get very concerned with seeing the kind of poor start that Yoe has had on this SF. You are kind of relying on him to set a nice tempo in this game, and I think the panel was talking about this. It's not going to be the easiest draft to try and run here from TNC, so you can't really afford to have a bad laning start.
Yeah, they were talking very specifically about that mid-push timing to shut down more of the map, to build up their aggression, to play with that early spike they have with Droughts level 6 in terms of getting some right-click damage through with the SF. They've got a lot of buffs on hand, Mike. You could play with Press the Attack, you could play with the Bloodlust coming through from Febby, but they haven't been able to group up yet. There's some pressure coming through instead from Fnatic towards the top lane as they're already looking for a push in with Jabs and DJ. And they're going to have to rotate out to defend, but it's only Febby that can show up here. So the first tower's coming through for Fnatic. That's going to limit the space of Young God instead in his build-up. He's still trying to hit the Dragonlance. He can farm pretty fast, but they've got to kind of protect that jungle to ensure the Drow hits its item spikes now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you lose that jungle and this Drow is just as good as dead as a hero. And well, Young God already in that jungle trying to secure as much farm as he can while he can. But well, there goes that tier 1 top tower. I mean, they are in position to try and trade with the bottom tier 1, but TNC just not 100% confident they can get it done. Do back out of there. And hell, Fnatic, even without taking that tier 1 mid, they're already moving into the dire jungle. You just see the confidence here from Jabs and Armel, of course, just no fear in the world. TNC, they're the ones who need to react again to this. In fact, bot lane's where the action might be is Xiao Yu. He's going to get stunned up, and Armel, he's made the rotation over, but the X and the torrent was just way off the mark. Still, the boat is going to be able to fly in time. Xiao Yu, though, still a very tanky target. The Tidebringer won't be enough. He'll survive on 40 HP. And I'll tell you, John, if that torrent landed, you probably would have had the kill, but he did not land it.
Yeah, it's a close call for Xiao Yu, but that's going to take him all the way back to base Mike. So he's not able to stick around to farm. He's not applying pressure on lane. I think the key thing for TNC here are blink timings. Xiao Yu needs that fast blink. He's not going for that armlet build-up that we might have expected as a frontline sort of build. He wants to initiate. He wants to jump up, set up with the duel, to set up for the Requiems, to have a good Solar Guardian on top in a big team fight, and run from there. So a lot of what TNC's playstyle looks to be in this early game is hanging on the Legion Commander hitting those item spikes, and Xiaoyu still a ways off from that. So Fnatic still has complete control of the map. Jabs has not left that top jungle. He's just kept it in check. He's pulling the creep wave with his dominated creep. He's getting so much farm, and there's no one punishing the Magnus for just taking over here. They've got wards to spot him, but there's just no movement out, and this is scary. And just the top jungle completely denied by one hero with no punishment. You're losing a lot of farm. They're going to try on Raven here.
They are going to try, but he's got Reincarnate now skilled up, so he had a skill point ready. Just in case, and in fact, they don't even have the damage. Raven, he hasn't even dropped one life yet. He'll try to turn. They'll gust him up, though. Silence him, but Raven, he will finally drop as Yoe pops the Requiem, but it's a little bit too early, Raven. It did not connect. He'll turn around now for the team fight. Yoe, he'll keep trying. Play hard. He'll make the jump in, but Raven's still not going down. He'll man up and fight this one out with the Dawnbreaker. Play hard will drop. Armel, he'll frontline for the team. In the meantime, though, he has been caught out now, but he gets the X-Torrent back onto Zhao Yu as Armel does not want to die. Yoe, though, with the chase down, does not quite have enough. And in the end, it's a support for a support trade. Somehow, they got Raven out of there. And Armel, he'll do the same.
Yeah, that was a 4v5, though, in TNC's favor. They dragged all their heroes down bot. Jabs was still top, Mike. Playing in that jungle, now he's shoving in mid. This greedy Magnus play is just paying dividends as they didn't have the RP to threaten, so they couldn't fully utilize that plump up, sure, but they take the mid tower. And that's the key tower that TNC was looking for in the mid lane. After hitting those spikes with Drow, now, I don't know if it's going to be safe to farm there at all. It's not been safe since that tier 1 top drop. Roshan's going to be harder to contest for the side of TNC. They're going to have to find a way to make use of this draft. They need to get good Requiems off. They need to start building some dual wins up and buy space out for Young God to hit his early spikes. I just don't see the angle yet for TNC. I mean, the blink timing for Xiaoyu is still the big one. And he is only about 400 gold away. So once you hit that, we have to see TNC ready to just run and gun, commit Solar Guardian, go for a kill. They need to gun for softer targets so much. Like, yeah, you see the pos 1, you want to kill him out, but Raven's too tanky. Go for softer targets. It doesn't matter if you're killing off supports. What matters is you start to snowball here for TNC's end.
You've really got to appreciate how well Jabs is playing this Magnus pickup with the Dominator. Like, you wouldn't expect this much impact, and you kind of think to yourself with that bottom team fight, maybe if you had an RP, you could have made a big team fight happen for Fnatic, but well, the tier 1 mid tower just so much more valuable. And well, TNC, they're going to try and trade, but Raven's there to try and defend, and I'm sure the rest of Fnatic will make their way over and not allow this to go down for free as they have the RP up and they have the kisses up. No Reincarnate quite yet, though. So you might leave Raven out of this. But Armel, he's going to get started with the boat out onto Yoe. It will connect, but they have to press the attack to allow Yoe to get back out of there. Even with the Mortimer's Kisses, it's not quite enough damage. So Yoe's fine, but you have successfully defended that mid-tier 1.
Okay, whatever, dude. I just woke
They
up.
defend
Not
the
even
mid-tier
trying,
1. They
man.
still
And I'm
free up
like,
the top jungle. I mean, this movement from Fnatic, Mike. I know I've been emphasizing Jabs. We've been emphasizing Jabs a bit, but this is just a ridiculous amount of free farm for him to have. Like, all the cores of TNC are falling behind, even the Magnus. They've not punished him. His laning phase went really well despite being a melee hero against Drow. And just to have this entire space to himself, while still microing his creep to pull the creep wave to get even more farm across the camps. I mean, that's efficiency from Jabs. Just perfect.
I didn't get to see how much bonus damage the creep got, though, as well. He can impale that creep, which is the fun part about it all. Is the creep does literally get the bonus damage and cleave with the empower. But he hasn't empowered it this time around. It did just expire as TNC. Oh, they spot out Armel mid lane. Yoe and Zhao Yu. They're going to try and jump in and see if they can burst down the Kunkka. Solar Guardian's there as well. The Requiem trying to push him back. The Chain Frost. It's also out, but Armel, he's tanked everything. And now they'll make the turn back onto Yoe. They'll take down the SF. They've got a torrent out onto Playhard. They are getting absolutely everything for the side of Fnatic as Playhard. He surely has no exit. He will get taken out by Raven as Raven just blinks right in again onto Zhao Yu. Has he gone too far this time? Not quite. He had the Reincarnate anyway. And Jabs, he's got a blink up now. This is becoming very concerning for TNC Predator. We have not seen Jabs really do anything yet. And he's just got Helmet the Dominator blink up. I mean, at some point, you're going to forget a Magnus even exists. and he's just going to jump in and RP everyone.
And I'm lagging.
Pretty much. I mean, it's 5-4, but the 6K lead of Fnatic just boils down to that Magnus play. Everyone else is being so aggressive on Fnatic to enable that. Even Raven showing up for the early fights with a Blink prioritized here without the Deso up. He knows they have enough damage to go through with these fights. And again, TNC, we're seeing the attempts, Mike, right? Like, they're coming in, they're blinking, they're dueling, they're just not hitting the right targets. Armel is too tanky. Raven's too tanky. I think at this point, Jabs might be a bit too tanky as well. So you can only really play with that combination up against the supports and build off from there. Just target DJ, try to target down John Yuel. If you could get those kills, start to get some bonus damage flowing in for Xiaoyu and some farm to follow up, maybe then you can start to build up into your timings for Yoa. He is going for a BKB on top of the Dragonlance, so Sheepo's call out for the physical SF is right. I think when you've got the Blink duel, though, you might actually still need a Blink on SF, because it just feels like you need a Requiem in top to take control with a Solar Guardian as well. And while they're still farming around on TNC's end, their top tier 2 is just gone. Like, that push is coming through from Fnatic with the Dominator, with the Skeleton sub from Raven. They take the outpost at 16 minutes. Roshan's going to be very easy to take here, Mike.
Oh, it certainly is, John. The Raven, he's got the Slater up at about 800 gold, so he might just wait that one out first. Though I dare say he doesn't really need it anyway. But why the hell not just wait and just ensure you get the Roshan? And you know, John, I was going to ask you earlier on if we were finally going to see a 2-1 for a series in the SCA TPC, but, you know, with the way this game's going, John, it doesn't quite look that way.
Yeah, it's not. I think, I'm trying to think for TNC towards the long term. You could really start to hit hard with your SF and going the right-click build. Your Drow can also kind of scale up against Wraith King, though. That can get a bit nebulous. I think they're losing out way too much. Like that Roshan we talked about, Mike, it's already there. Raven has the Deso up. Not going to take too long, with DJ also having the full Solar Crest out of nowhere. So, the minus armor is up. And there's no big team fight for TNC this time around. In Game 1, we at least had Xiaoyu's Ravage. Here, it's all single target focused outside of Requiem's Fear. So they can't even force the fight in Roshan if they wanted to. And I think for TNC, it's all about pickoffs. It's still the same playstyle. Try to take care of the backline with this Blink duel. You just don't have enough burst unless you commit literally everything with the duel, with the Requiem and Solar Guardian on top of one hero.
Oh, young God.
If it's a tanky one.
Do not get baited by that creep, young God. Jabs is coming. RP, though. No, he's out of range. They might be able to turn it now. Solar Guardian out, but the boat is going to be there to protect Jabs. He's still alive. He can still get that RP off in time, and he's going to try. Oh. He has found the Drow out. Armel's there with the damage output on Raven. He'll make the jump in, and they got young God. In fact, Jabs, he somehow got out of there. Oh, he will finally drop to the Tier 1 tower. Of all things, as Yoen now, he'll be chased down on the SF. They might just find everything on the side of Fnatic, but no. It'll be a 2-for-2 trade, at least for now. But Raven, he's not done yet. He wants Febby too on that Ogre. They'll try to help him out with the Fire Blast there, but play hard. He may have sacrificed himself, and it's not really for the greater good, as he does end up going down. And Febby, he would at least be able to TP out. But that's about all that happens. Fnatic, they'll go off that bottom Tier 1 tower. And there you go, chaps. There you go, John. Jabs, just he ends up finding the RP anyway. Don't get a big head, John. You're not anywhere near as good as Jabs.
Of course not. Like, you saw how long he juked out. You know, he might have even lived if he didn't blink into the Tier 1 range. Like, if he just got into the juke spot, that would have been really dicey for TNC not finding that counter kill. And again, they don't have control of their tower, so of their outpost, so Fnatic just TP up, keep the aggression going.
Oh no, Xiaoyu, he blinked in, he thought it was an easy Lich kill. Or maybe they still have Raven though. Raven, he's only got the Aegis up. He doesn't have the Reincarnation as they do get Genuel down. Raven, he's quite low. Play hard. He'll be able to secure the Aegis life, but now the boat's going to fly in. Armel is there, but play hard. He's able to get out. In fact, Febby now, he'll make the chase over. Down to the Kunkka. They'll get the sentries down, but Armel, he's going to be just fine, at least for now, as the Fire Blast does come in. More razors flying up from Yoe, but Armel is just so damn tanky. He is not going to die here and now. They will at least get the Lich, but they're going to end up losing their Dawnbreaker as Jabs is in with the skewer back. Armel ends up finding Yoe on the SF, but there's going to be no follow-up to the Torrent. They'll leave Yoe be. But it's still a 9k net worth advantage here for the side of Fnatic. In fact, make that 10k now. And things are looking very, very tough for TNC as the game continues.
Yeah, I mean, they're finding these small pickoffs, but they're sacrificing a lot to get that done, and I think that's still a big issue for TNC. They're lagging severely behind in farm here, Mike. Young God is still behind Jabs in farm, and Bioe and Xiaoyu are way too far behind. Like, our SF needs to be at least as itemized as our Drow. So you actually have two big cores to sustain on TNC's side. There's just not enough map space for them to sustain that build-up. I think Fnatic understand that. They're working almost every lane. They've kind of ignored bot lane, but the top and mid are firmly in Fnatic's control. The jungle up top is still in their control as well, although there are some good wards here from TNC to spot out and protect. It doesn't give them that much reach into that jungle. So they're kind of forced to clump up in the triangle. Young God, again, just sitting there. But that kind of reveals it for Fnatic. They've got vision. They go for the smoke. They're going to look to go hunt.
Oh, and they will find Febby. Febby will drop Raven. Able to take another kill on this Wraith King. On the bright side, John, Febby did just find a Philosopher's Stone. So, you know, he could use that while he's dead. There is a bright side to all of this.
Yeah. I guess. You can try to
Oh,
roll.
Jabs. Yeah, he found Yoe. They got the RP off. That'll be SF gone. It happens that fast, John.
Yeah, it's just so much damage coming through from Fnatic. Their physical output's just ridiculous with Empower, with the Desolator up, with a Kunkka on hand as well. You're not going to survive that burst. You're not itemized to survive that burst yet on our SF. And, well, Fnatic, they just take the mid-tier 2. Only one outer tower left here for TNC, Mike, at 22 minutes. They've only got one access point outside their high ground. Again, it just limits their build-up, limits the space they have to farm. I think they're just way too reliant on this duel coming through from Xiaoyu. Like, he is legitimately their only big control in these team fights. Like, you blink duel, you go Solar Guardian on top, and it's just not enough. Like, we've seen so many dual targets come out from Xiaoyu. We've seen try Jabs, try Armel, try Raven, and it just falls flat. And at this point, I think 22 minutes in, going for playoffs, pick-off supports, it just doesn't feel like it's enough. So, I don't know. I think TNC's got to pull something magical out with some sort of re-engage.
Xiao Yu, don't do that, sir. That is very wishful thinking here from Xiao Yu as he tries to run with the press the attack. And, yeah, Armel, he'll get it done. You know, John, Avo was talking about this in the panel. Yeah, DLC being that SCA core that everyone likes to carry within their pubs. Unfortunately, this is exactly what happens in those pubs, John. 0 dual damage, just dying over and over again. And yeah, I mean, it happens, John. Happens to the best of us.
It does. And again, this is a Xiaoyu special. He's been getting off some good press the attack saves, but the duel's just not been landing in.
Oh, baby. He's been caught out again. Armel just way too aggressive on this Kunkka. No fear in the world right now for Fnatic because they understand how much more powerful they are as a team at the moment. You see Raven onto the tier 3 tower on his own. And Yoe, he's staring at him. If looks could kill, maybe Raven would be dead, but Raven, he's just fine. Yoe, he'll have to watch his tier 3 burn, but he does at least have the mid-racks.
Yeah, and there's some protection coming through from TNC here. They've got the BKBs up on Yoe and Young God, so our Drow and SF can kind of stand up in the middle and fight. The issue is, if Jab still gets a good RP off, he's not going to care for those BKBs. So there's still counterplay from Fnatic with that spell immunity on hand from TNC. They're going to have to really watch their spacing. They're going to have to watch how they engage. And they're always going to have to watch mid to slowly get shoved in. Like, there's just so much split push from Fnatic. Like, Jabs is still doing that dominated creep play with Empower, Mike. So someone's always got to be standing up top to prevent that wave from just being shoved in. That will be play hard, but it just makes it a lot harder for TNC to angle around. Like, the only way to get play hard in is with a good Solar Guardian. And again, only duel is there to keep them inside that Solar Guardian anyway.
Smoke on smoke situation here. TNC, they've been sneaking up from the backside, but Fnatic, they are also smoked now. So it's a bit of an awkward scenario for TNC to try and know exactly where Fnatic are. Raven, he'll be the bait. Fnatic, they are on the low ground. Yoe, he'll pop his BKB early on as Raven. He'll just jump in. He does not give a crap about your BKB. As TNC, they will try and surround, and they might just find the first life. But here comes Armel. Skewer back. Jabs, he's missed out. The RP, it's completely whiffed. And now TNC, they might be able to find a good team fight. Or maybe not. Young God is forced to TP out of there. The boat will fly in onto Yoe. Solar Guardian will not be there to help out. Well, not in time at least. They even found Febby on the Ogre. And hell, you miss all your spells, it just does not matter for Fnatic. As they'll go for more now. On to play hard. Jewel out, Xiao Yu, he'll try to protect. They still lose the Dawnbreaker and they would at least get Raven down. It's a big pickup from Xiao Yu. And his first bit of Jewel damage out on the LC.
Yeah, it's a decent punishment. Fnatic kind of overextending through that tier 3 fight. They still kind of win out in the end. They force up a couple of buybacks to protect. But you have to watch yourself. Chanuel's still looking to play in that lane.
Oh, look at this Chain Frost out. Chanuel.
Oh my god.
Oh, DJ. I mean, DJ's KSing, John. Chanuel would have had that.
Yeah, he would have. Right? Like, he knew the creep wave was there, and he knew that he'd clear it out in time, still have enough bounces. He's got the Veil of Discord as well to amp up the spell damage anyway. So, you know, Chanuel just looking to build up, you know, kind of showing off in the pause 4 as most pause 4 players tend to do. But TNC, Mike, I mean, they're still in the game, right? They get a successful high ground defense of sorts. I think what both sides will need to set their eyes on next is maybe Roshan, because Fnatic has a really easy angle pointing towards Rosh. There's no vision there from TNC. They've got the dominated creep just constantly watching now. So they've always got an idea of when that spawn is up. TNC can use that time to try to build up here, Mike. Try to catch up, close out this 19k deficit at 26 minutes. And not going to be an easy task. But if they maybe get some impactful items through, it could help the cause. SNY is done for Young God. So a little bit of stat resist for the Drought to try to play even more on edge. Yoe, I think for the SF right now, the issue isn't really items, it's levels. Like, he's still at level 15. He doesn't have the maxed out Requiem. He doesn't have his level 20 talent lined up anytime soon. So I think for Yoe, it's important for him to get those EXP spikes up and running. Hit those talent spikes, Mike, and maybe then you might have enough in your toolkit with these BKBs to force a fight back your way on TNC's end.
Perhaps. It does feel like if you're TNC right now, you're kind of relying on that high ground defense with everything you've got. No, I mean, we can go back to that last fight where, again, Jabs, he missed the RP, he missed the skewers, but none of it mattered. Fnatic, they still came out on top. There's Armel just clearing out that mid creep wave, and well, Roshan is now officially up. At TNC, it does feel like you can't really afford to allow this to go the way of Fnatic. The same side of things, though, you don't really have much of a choice right now.
No, you just don't have an easy way of fighting there. It's only really the duel coming through from Xiao Yu, so they surrender the Aegis, give it out to Raven. He's got a Moon Shard as well, Mike, so there's a lot of right-click speed here for our Raid King to just keep applying the mortal strikes as they come up. And for TNC, I don't know if they have enough to deal with 3 lives in Raid King. Since he's level 18 as well, considering how tanky Raven is, you might even see 2 uses of Reincarnation if you take too long in killing him off. And Fnatic knows this. They just smoke, they're going to look for a play, and go on to high ground.
Yeah, they will. He will be the first target, though, here from TNC. Of course, Raven, again, he'll be the front line. He's got 3 lives available right now, so very, very confident he'll be able to survive and remain within this team fight. Febby, though, he does get Horn Toss skewered back. Jabs catches a nice target to start as Yoe. He has not BKB'd up, but he'll be fine. Fnatic, not going to make the jump in. They'll play it patiently. It is a 4v5 after all. As Febby, he does not have buyback available. Fnatic, they know this.
I don't think it's too bad for TNC to not have Febby. Like, Bloodlust is important to amp up their damage, but they're not missing too much control. In the end, TNC's same issues lie here. Like, you have to get that good duel, you have to have the Requiem follow through, you have to find a way to burst through them, but with Raven playing on the front line, it just doesn't feel like you can ever deal with him. Like, sure, he's chipping away, his HP's kind of dropping low, doesn't care. Damage is coming through to the tier 3s and it's gone.
Another tier 3 down. That's the thing, every time Raven has a creep wave, he is essentially healing up back to the half HP. There's Yoe, the Copper Torrent there, Raven. Still not going to lose the Aegis or that first life.
Okay, whatever, dude. I just
Raindrax is done, and that'll be enough for them for now. Fnatic, it does seem like they want to just find another target so they can really commit to this top racks. But nobody out of position here from TNC. making it very hard for Jabs to make a jump in with the Horn Toss skewer back. Raven, though, he might just keep forcing it. I mean, that's one way to open up. In fact, Yoe got caught out for a second, but he is going to remain just fine thanks to the press the attack of Xiao Yu. The racks, however, slowly dropping. But again, Fnatic not fully committing to this fight. They are respecting the high ground defense of TNC. They will be a little bit more conservative and, again, just wait for another time.
Yeah, guess what, Mike? Raven's got a Paladin Sword again.
Oh,
so he's back to full HP. There you go. Just a couple of crits. Every time, man. Every time you just get the perfect item up on your cores. And, well, with that Paladin Sword up, I don't know if you can really drop Raven low at all if he just commits and right-clicks true.
Oh, he's in. Raid Fire Blast is out, but the X-Back is there. So let me get this straight. Fnatic have 3 lives on Raven. They've got Armelda X in back. And they've got the Paladin Sword lifesteal on top of the lifesteal the Wraith King already has. It just seems a little bit unfair for TNC.
That it does. Look, Raven's back to full. 1 creep wave. All it takes. And
Excellent.
here we go again.
Yeah, Mortimer's Kisses now, just to make sure they're all zoned out. As Yoe, he's going to hold on to his own BKB, but Raven, he's got the top rack. I mean, what does he care? Top rack's taken down, and it's just a rinse and repeat for the next minute and a half while the Aegis is up.
Just woke up, not even trying right now.
Yeah.
Like,
They haven't lost anything on Fnatic's side. TNC just have no angles to really force out unless an overextension happens from Fnatic, and they're just not allowing any openings to come through. Although down bot,
Yeah, they found Play Hard. That's a bit more of a valuable target than, say, Febby on the Ogre. No buyback available on Play Hard either. He's down for a minute and a half, at least in terms of buyback status. As Raven, he's jumped in again with the Wraith Fire Blast. But the 4-star from Young God was there. But Raven, he's here for the buildings anyway.
yeah, it's a nice quick show. Ooh,
Oh,
Jack.
Hontos is there. Febby, Jabs, a bit too aggressive perhaps as Raven now. Now he's going to be just fine. They'll jump in. Xiao Yu with the duel out, but it's not going to be enough. The Chain Frost still bouncing in the backside as well, so Febby just ends up going down as Yoe has been caught out. Raven will get right to work and the damage is just too high. They call it. TNC, they are not confident enough to keep this game going. And Fnatic, they will be able to secure a 2-0 victory against TNC Predator. With that, we are going to throw right to a break, and of course, we'll be back with our lovely panel right after that short break.
Welcome back. Our panel's looking cool today. Our expectations were correct.
Yes.
Fnatic.
Don't ever do that again. Don't ever.
just to piss you off, I probably will.
If I ever see
Hey,
that
look.
again, I'll hurt you.
SEA fans are in the younger demographic. You know, I'm just trying to appeal to the
True?
people.
Is that true?
I
I think
think so,
Dota
yeah.
fans are the old people.
No, but like certain South American SEA is younger audience. I think Eastern Europe compared to the Western Europe audience.
Oh yeah, because
who
Western
are
Europe
like-
is everyone's 40.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I assume. My
It's-
dad
it's-
watches me.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of parents with kids, we get so many tweets from people like, "Yeah, I'm watching Dota with my kids or their pets. You know, they're responsible adults."
Yeah, same for SEA, except they go, I'm 20, by the way. It's different, different cultures. But
Yeah.
here we watched the highlights of the match. To be honest, the second match was kind of a stomp here by...
And I will put a lot of that down to this Lich pick. This Lich
Yeah,
was
hype.
so poppin'. The TNC pick, Ogre, LC, Dawnbreaker, and automatically these are 3 heroes that are hinting very highly towards a physical damage lineup because Ogre buffs your attack damage. LC is I mean, she's pretty much mostly physical damage. And they were just like, okay, we have a Lich. And that mitigated the entire lane. The lane was absolutely useless. They couldn't touch him. These mid-game fights, they would duel. And I really hated this Shadow Fiend pick, by the way. We saw it multiple times. They would duel and have absolutely no follow-up. There is nothing. No damage. Like 3 raises and not killing these heroes. They're super tanky. Kunkka, tanky. Wraith King, tanky. Magnus, tanky. Lich Shield on top, unkillable. Like, these people didn't need... Like, LC looked like a creep. It was so sad.
I was very surprised by the SF pickup because usually it indicates that maybe you're picking a carry that's like not that hard, like a Lifestealer, for example, or even an Ursa or something. You want something to cover, or you have like an incredible lane, which against Kunkka, I guess the beginning is fine.
Mid laners, man. Mid laners. You get halfway through the draft, And, you know, Febby's in the captaincy, picking away, sees a few mid-band. Kunky's like, all right, yo, when you play? SF. Every mid laner wants to play SF. And
SF coming into the
you
meta.
have to stop them.
especially now it's in the meta. These mid laners are seeing SF in all these other regions. It's winning games. It's looking good. Sometimes in the carry role, but the mid see it being played in the carry, and they're like, we gotta stop that. We gotta put a lid on that. No more carry. SF is the mid hero. So these mids are trying to reclaim SF, and yeah, it didn't work out too well.
I am so mad. I hate SF. And then it bleeds into your pub games and you're queuing and this guy's like, I'm going to play SF carry because it's already pro game. Like, no. This hero has like 500 health pool or something. Like, these people are just dying left and right. They're trying to farm jungle. They're dying in their jungle. I'm like, stop it. Stop ruining my games.
So I thought the build was you skip raise and get max your other two skills. I saw someone going stats over the... minus armor, passive, whatever it's called. Presence dark. And I'm just like, oh, we're back. This is like, 2013 Burning playing anti-mage going all stats. Like, carry players, they're loving Icefork bringing back stats. It's a carry player patch right now.
It was the Gyrocopter. I gotta say, the way that you guys say the mid laners, it sounds like an insult to me. It doesn't sound like a good thing. But luckily, we have the best of the mid laners, the one that just won this match. We have an interview with MLP here. Hello, how's it going?
Hello guys.
Yes,
Hi.
hello.
Yeah, you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes, yes, we hear you. How are you feeling after that match?
Good. For sure. It's really good.
Yeah. So we saw the pre-game interview. Raven was talking about the issues you guys were looking to fix, and you're looking at yourself and like trying to improve. One of them was the draft. Did you feel like these drafts were what you wanted to do? Did you feel better about these drafts today?
Yeah, I think so too. Because on our game against SMG, we kinda don't have like direction from there. So everyone's like kinda confused on what they wanna do in the game, and then the game just looks really lost.
We were big fans of the Lich pick. That was top notch. Who made that call?
From what I remember, it's Sanbi. I'm actually not sure. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Good. Give him credit to your coach. I see. You want more playtime. I like it.
No one's around. You should take credit yourself. Be like, that was my idea. Really well done. Do you enjoy? I mean, Kunkka, one of your signature heroes. Are you happy that Kunkka's one of the top heroes in the meta right now?
Yeah, for sure. Like the Kunkka is very like flexible in a way that some people is putting it in the carry now, so it's much easier to pick, and like it's just very strong at the lane.
So I want to ask about Jabs. So he moved to offlane, and I noticed in all of your games so far, you guys have been giving him his hero last in the draft. What's the particular reason behind that? Is it because you want him to have like the best game possible, or is it because he feels like he can be like this win condition last pick?
I think we just like want him to like want to have a good game, and he's a captain. He can do whatever. He can do last pick. He's like a boss. Cannot do anything about it. If I ask for last pick, I might get kicked.
Okay, the Iron Fist of Jabs reigns supreme. I like it, Ermel. So what opponents you fought against SMG, but some strong opponents still looking in this tournament. Who are you really looking forward to playing against as a mid laner? I want to hear the matchup you excited about.
Maybe T1, since they really good at TI. Not really particularly like the mid matchup, but I just like kinda wanna beat them because they look like the strongest team at C.
Yeah. Do you guys feel like you've improved a lot from last week? Do you feel comfortable with your improvement?
Yeah, I think so. We keep getting better and just working on our problems.
Yeah. Are you enjoying playing with a kind of totally new team? I mean, obviously some former teammates you've played with Raven in the past with DJ, but this is, I mean, you're on TNC for such a long time. Is playing with this new roster, like, is it fun for you? How are you finding the experience?
So far it's like just very normal for me since we're not like getting together yet because we're just playing at home, everyone. So it's like kind of same. Yeah. I don't really know how to feel about it.
No, that's fine.
All right. We're gonna let you go here, Armel. But before you go, I want to ask you, how do you celebrate? How do you celebrate a victory? What do you eat when you celebrate a victory?
sisig. If you guys know that,
Yes,
it's
yes.
like the best food. Yeah.
Okay, sisig, nice. All right,
Sisig.
Armel, enjoy it. And thank you very much for joining us today for this interview. Good luck next week, and congratulations again.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, Mel.
Bye.
Bye.
I love this guy. He is
What a nice
such a bubbly attitude.
Who's that guy in the background? He
don't
just
know.
opened the door like, oh shit! Close the
Oh,
door.
DPC interview.
He didn't want anything to do with that interview.
No, that was nice. I always like getting the insight from the teams, and I like someone that's able to joke around.
Good to know Jabs is threatening them all, making them terrified. Give me my hero laughing.
Well, we have someone else that's not threatening, but our partner, our good friend, a lovely amigo here, as we say in Spain. It's mate mate. You know, some people might read it as mate mate. That's because they're your friends, of course. See, this is the partner for this broadcast. It's an energy drink, a natural energy drink. Look at this, amazing. Thank you, Sheeple. They like to call themselves caffeine reimagined, and that's because this caffeine gives you more day and more night. Right now, we're actually running a special promotion. You can actually get 10% off by using code PTS Dota. You can head over to pts.gg/mate right now, and if you use this code, you'll get 10% off in your next mate mate order. You can also find this link in the description, or in the chat. And you can also find it down below in the banners. Remember, better than an energy drink, better than a latte, it's mate mate.
Wow.
See you next time. See you later.